Transformation and Networking, board proudly sponsored by Stewart Bank. Your money, our commitment. My name is Hugo Betika and I'll be directing ceremonies this morning. Today's a very, very exciting morning for us all because not only do we have a high impact power talk by Dr. Shingun Nyeza, where we will discuss the great to crossover. How can businesses tap into opportunities that lie ahead? But we have the brand new Minister of Industry and Commerce, if I may, Honourable Mike Mima, amongst us. Round of applause, please, for the Minister. Also joining us will be the Honourable Minister of Small and Medium Enterprises, Honourable Stemiso Inyoni. She'll be joining us a little bit later on. But I think this gives us an opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, to write down a few questions that you would like to ask the Minister, and possibly a few suggestions. There will be a panel discussion in a few minutes, so if you would just like to make a note of any questions, thoughts, and I think even advice that you might have for the good Minister, it's most welcome. There is a pad at your table and a pen, so if you take time to just to make a note of your questions. Without further ado, I'd like to call upon the head of our wholesale banking of Stewart Bank, Mr. Ben China, to give us the opening remarks.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests. First, allow me to welcome and acknowledge our honourable guests, Honourable Minister Bima and Honourable Minister Nyoni, who will be joining us. Once again, congratulations on your appointment. It is our honor and pleasure that you have joined us this morning, Minister. We certainly look forward to hearing your views, your guidance on how the private sector can take advantage of the current and future opportunities to contribute effectively to the development of this country. I also look forward to your views on ways in which the public sector and private sector can work together for the purposes of prosperous Zimbabwe. I would also want to welcome our guest speaker, Dr. Shingun Nyeza, one of Zimbabwe's most accomplished business leaders. Your experience and knowledge are not only an asset to the business community, but a positive and encouraging testament to what can be achieved out of vision and determination. And to all guests present today, and I see a number of colleagues from the industry, thank you for being with us this morning. A warm welcome to you. The subject of today's event is one that I'm sure sits in the minds of all those in the private sector. That is how we as business people can tie our own business goals to a greater national agenda. We are in a very unique position. I say that we're in a unique position because Zimbabwe possesses some of the greatest minds and a particularly resilient spirit. As Zimbabwe, we have a lot that is going for us. Our manufacturing and service sectors, relative to many African peers, were once among the most advanced and innovative. That knowledge and expertise will serve as a benefit as we continue down this journey to economic stability and prosperity. Zimbabwe is also blessed with vast natural resources, and the Zimbabwean community, both in the diaspora and the local, possesses the knowledge to exploit these resources. At the heart of Zimbabwe's industry are also very educative and competitive people, such as those people that are sitting in this room today. The existence of diverse industries presents a compelling set of opportunities. In order to exploit linkages across sectors, businesses need to be productive, competitive, and adequately funded. Today, we must navigate our own market in an ever-globalized economy. This means increased competition from outside the country. There is a great need to finance the recalibration of our businesses and to finance their growth. Providing that access to capital is a responsibility that lies with the Zimbabwean financial institutions. As a Stewart Bank, we feel a strong obligation to be part of the Zimbabwean success story. One of the key values, our key value as a bank, is UNU or Ubuntu. UNU speaks to an acknowledgement that we are a community. Each of us has a role to play in the success of this country. Our ambition as a bank is to provide innovative, world-class products and services using convenient channels and technologies. Ultimately, we want to bring those who sit outside mainstream or formal banking into it. We want to make banking inclusive. Supporting Zimbabwean businesses and entrepreneurs from all walks of life is key to achieving our key goal as a bank. Encouraging a culture of saving and providing access to loans to entrepreneurs, for SMEs, to the agricultural sector and to large corporates ranks highly among our priorities. In this way, we hope to provide the support needed to stabilize and to grow enterprises that will in turn grow the Zimbabwean economy. The need for us in the private sector to work with the government to understand its priorities cannot be overstated. It is important for two main reasons. First, it helps us to understand the economic direction the economic direction of the country better, equipping us to take advantage of opportunities that will grow our businesses. It also helps us understand and build and operate projects that have a national impact. It is platforms such as today's that encourage this understanding. Stewart Bank is proud to be sponsoring today's event, and we look forward to being part of the development of the Zimbabwean businesses and the development of the nation. Once again, I thank you all for joining us this morning, and I look forward to what promises to be a very educative address and discussions. Thank you.
Congratulations to you on your appointment. I think it's an exciting development for everybody in the commerce and industry and the nation at large. Now, my first question will be targeted at you. How significant is this appointment?
Thank you very much. I thought that person needed qualification in terms of significant to who, but all the same, I think it's a question of looking at it from in a holistic manner. I think I welcome this appointment in the sense that I was deputy minister in the same industry, and obviously it's easier to start things going because of my prior exposure into the same ministry. But more importantly, I have also been saying to colleague politicians that I'm not a politician. I've always argued that I've had 20 years in the private sector and only 5 years in politics. So where is my experience coming from? Obviously coming from my 20 years experience in business. So I've always thought that I'm a business person who has gone into politics rather than a business person who has become a politician. So yes, I have a physical constituency where I derive the mandate to join government. But at the same time, I also have certain constituencies. And obviously my constituency is business, because that's the area that I know, is the area that I have got friends and colleagues, most of the people around here are not new faces to me. We've interacted before, we've worked before, we were together. The only difference is I've left you for a while to join government. And one of my biggest tasks is also to invite some of you to join government so that we can create a critical mass. It's no help for having Bima who has been in business, in government, but we want Shigumunyeza, Edwin, and so forth, so that we can create a critical mass. So that we run away from this issue of pointing and saying, Madara has the business. Kwemi knows our business, Murikopi. So if we don't go in, some people will make decisions for us. So I think it's significant in the sense that I'm there to represent business as well. So it's also significant to me because, as I said, we don't know everything. We thrive on input, on contribution, on ideas from our stakeholders. And for me, it's actually easier for me because it's not difficult for me just to lift up a phone and try and get contribution from you. But I think it's also significant in terms at a national level because we are at a time when there is no industry to talk about. But we know there is the potential we have. Therefore, there is a big challenge to say, yes, there might not be much of industry to talk about, but we have the potential. And what we want is to join hands with people like you for us to work together, and I'm very confident that we can move where we want to go. So I think it's a time that you can never have a challenge as big as this, to say, yes, we have a struggling industry, and what an interesting challenge, because what we want is to make a difference. We won't make a difference as government alone, but we will only make a difference with the cooperation of business. And I'm glad that already within the few days that I've been appointed, I've heard a lot of input and contribution from the private sector. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me at the back? Welcome. The Honourable Minister of Small and Medium Enterprises, Honourable Stenderson Nyoni, to the panel.
Ma'am, thank you very much for joining us.
Okay, so if you would like to prep questions for the Honourable Minister, please feel free to do so. Now, I know that Mr. Chikunza has been busy riding away, and I think he has a few remarks for the Minister. Mr. Chikunza.
Minister, I think there's a lot of anticipation in this room regarding your appointment. And for me, coming from distribution and service industry, building materials and agro-related industry, there's also a lot of anticipation. I would like to find out, Minister, therefore, with regards what we've been murmuring about before we came on this table, the issues to do with funding, the relationship between yourselves and the others, that in the industry we are looking at service being compounded by job creation. How is it going to happen, Minister, that these services that we are looking for will come to being in the shortest possible time, because we have been waiting for long? I want to just give you an example. I was telling the Minister a few minutes ago that a few days after the appointment of ministers, I saw two guys coming to my office, and they were saying, they're looking for employment. Just a few days. That's a true indication that everyone is waiting in anticipation. Now, you yourself as the Minister of Industry and Commerce, what confidence can you give to this room so that the chain reaction starts? So that we are also confident that things are going to happen. I will obviously not ask you for priorities because I know you've got lots of priorities, but to give us the confidence that industry and commerce is going to tick so that there's the ripple effect downstream, distribution, service, and so on. Thank you.
Judge Funza. Maybe we could have another question to allow the Minister to tackle more. If you'd just like to identify yourself and your question, please.
My name is Travis Onlopiri, Zimbabwe National Chamber of Commerce. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Honorable Ministers, I've got just a small question on probably how you are going to address the collapse of the local industry, which we are all looking at. We have a situation whereby we have got a great threat of cheap imports which are coming into the country. And some of these imports are actually being facilitated by ourselves, probably trying to make quick money. And looking at the industry which ourselves are running, as well as agriculture, we are actually looking at a total collapse. We have got a situation whereby we have the industry which is failing to manufacture, not mainly because of competitiveness, but because of those imports which are actually being smuggled into the country. And these same imports, if I can give an example, for example, chicken, they are actually affecting our industry. If you look at oil, it's also affecting our manufacturing industry. And at the same time, if you look at the ripple effect, now the downstream effect, you find that the moment we do have those imports coming into the country, we have got no jobs at the industry. And also at the same time, if we look at the downstream, our industry, they get their raw material from the farms, which is agriculture, which is also equally affected. So looking at the whole value chain system, we are being affected. I've just shortened my question.
Yeah, I thought the two questions are really related in a way. The first one was to where is the confidence? And obviously it looks at a lot of the challenges that we have at the moment. The second one was really more of specific issues addressed by the questioner. Issues to do with competition from cheap products, issues to do with the porous border, issues to do with the tariff regime. And I'll take you back 12 months ago. We consulted widely with industry. Where are the problems? What are our problems? Because we're in the process of crafting an industrial development policy. And we were also in the process of crafting our national trade policy. We benefited from the contribution from business across the country. And those two pieces of legislation were based on those consultations. The issues that we raised are addressed in those two policy documents. Our biggest challenge has been not knowing what to do, but lack of implementation. And there are various reasons to that effect. So our thrust this time, and that's where the confidence comes, is to say we want to implement. We want action, not speeches. And that comes from what the thrust that has come as a result of what the president expects from those whom he appointed, that he wants implementation, action, and delivery. And therefore, we do have the legislative framework to do what we need to do. We just need to get things done. I would like to believe that this time around, there is better and more effective teamwork amongst the colleagues. And that really was not the case in the past 5 years. You should understand, yes, when you talk about an inclusive government, it is its benefits. It also has its shortfalls in terms of the speed with which decisions are made. Politicians, by nature, they tend sometimes to criticize each other for no apparent reason, but criticism for its own sake, and that is an effect of retarding decision making. And I would like to believe that this time around we are going to make decisions faster, that the overemphasis is on implementation as opposed to coming up with a new policy. Yes, we might refine the policy here and there, but I think much of what we have is already what business would want to see government doing. Mind you, our role is not to get involved in business. Our role is to create a conducive environment to grow the economy, and for the private sector to grow the economy through industrialization, through exports, and through other measures that are available to us. And we are so pleased if we have suggestions to help us to how best can we create that conducive environment. It's not for us just to come out with those strategies, but we welcome your input in that regard, and thank you.
Minister, thank you very much. Another 5 years for you in that ministry. Congratulations firstly. It's obviously a show of confidence. What can we expect differently or to be reaffirmed for small to medium enterprises?
Thank you very much. I feel a brand new minister in a brand new ministry. The Ministry of SMEs plays a very important part in the economy of this country. First, it is the foundation for indigenization. When I first came into the ministry, people were talking a lot about writing proposal for donor funding. Now, if you go into the street, people are talking more about business plans to get a loan to start a business. And that shift in the minds of Zimbabweans is a great milestone that this ministry has created. What then do we think we will achieve in the next 5 years? Some of you, I think you were there when the president launched the World Bank study on the achievement of SMEs in this country. It was launched this year in July, on the 19th of July. That study says, through the facilitation, I agree with the minister, our role is to facilitate and not to do business. Through the facilitation of this ministry, the SMEs in this country, or let me say, this government, together with you guys, we have created 2 million SMEs, 2 million small and medium enterprise people. In fact, 2.8 million. 2 million are self-employed in their businesses. 800,000 are employing other people. And together, those who are employing themselves and their families and those that have created other jobs, they've created 5.7 million jobs. And within this sector, this study says, there is $7 billion circulating within this sector, which is unbanked. So in the next 5 years, it is our hope that we try and, in fact, before I say that, I had a meeting with the minister. Thank you, Minister. I'm glad we are here together. The problem that we have in Africa are dual economies. Those others and us. So my role, Minister, will be to work very closely with you so that we bridge the gap between the SMEs and the big companies through strategic linkages, backward and forward linkages, so that we work as one economy, not competing with each other.
Minister, I'm going to have to cut you short there. Thank you very much for that contribution. Mr. Ndred, I know you have something burning up your sleeve. If you'd like to go ahead, please.
Okay, thanks, MC. I think my comment is we all know that industry over the last 5 to 10 years has gone through some serious problems. And if you also look at companies that are on the stock exchange, those companies that are doing well are companies that have had some form of capitalization since dollarization. Companies that haven't had any new capital are really struggling big time. And one of the ways of raising capital is bringing in new partners. And there are many people that are interested in Zimbabwean industries, but I think there's always the political perception, the political risk perception, and I think the other thing is, people misunderstand our indigenization policies. It is said that you campaign with poetry and you rule with prose. I would just like to get some comments from the minister in terms of how we are going to be packaging our re-industrialization in a positive way, and how we are going to be sending out our indigenization message in a positive way, sending the right PR message, so that investors, whether from the east or the west, they all feel comfortable to be coming into the economy, and new money can come in. I think we all agree that there's no liquidity out there. If you look at the businesses that are in the distribution sector, they will tell you that money on the ground is just not there. Last Christmas, I spent last Christmas in Gutu. My father-in-law has got a little shop at one of the growth points, and I was the storekeeper. And for the whole day, the sales for the whole day were $20. Now you can imagine if the turnover on Christmas Day is $20, what is the margin? What is the profit coming out of there? There just is no money in the economy. We need to be attracting new investments. How do we package our story so that we don't scare away people, whether from the east or the west? How do we manage our PR exercise? Thank you.
Morgan, thank you very much. A very interesting question for you there, Honourable Minister. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've just joined us, it gives me great pleasure to welcome those of you that have to this business breakfast talk and networking.